Welcome to a live suggestions box where in these videos we take comments for people suggesting quality of life things or things they want added to Overwatch to make it a little better. Hopefully most of these are a yes, no, or a maybe. We have a little discussion here and let's see what you guys have cooked, and maybe Blizzard devs, if they watch these, maybe we can implement some of these. First one of the week is quality of life request. Illari needs to be able to recall her pylon while shooting her beam. Yeah, why not? I agree with this. Yes for me. I think most people would say yes. One of the big things that I just want to add, that a big tip for Illari is that people should recall their pylon more often than not. Because if somebody shoots the pylon as you recall it, it goes on like a 14-15 second cooldown. But if you recall it, it's like immediately up, or it's like a 5-second cooldown. Being able to recall it when you can, and like if you see a moment where you're heal beaming and you want to recall it in that moment, I think is a good addition to the game. Suggestion: in the current patch of Giga buffed tanks, nerf Mercy's resurrection abilities on tanks to make them come back at 50% health. Okay, so this one's interesting for me because I've always thought the same, where the quality of your res really depends on the person you res. Like resing a 250 HP DPS is way different than resing a 750 or 800 HP Mauga or whatever, right? That being said, I don't think Mercy's very strong right now, so if you do res a tank at half health or something like that, the cooldown would need to be tuned. You could tune it where Mercy's res maybe is a shorter cooldown if you res like 25 seconds if it's like a squishier hero, and maybe 30 or a little longer for tanks, something like that. It's not the same value. Now you can argue that the quality of the res depends on tanks, and tanks are also like more in the front line, so it's a riskier res inherently, but not always. So yeah, they're not, all reses are not equal. So I'm not really sure where to go with this. Maybe it's half health, maybe it's a shorter cooldown. But there's something here. I'm going to put it in the middle, but I do think something should be looked at with the quality of your res with tanks versus the other heroes in the game. So that's a maybe for me, but I'm not sure if anybody will agree with that take. Next suggestion: let Cass roll during the high noon so he can dodge stuns. To compensate, remove the damage reduction ramp and make it a flat 20%. No, I like the way high noon is right. You have to have the agency and the choice to cancel it and roll. There's a lot of times you actually pop the high noon, you cancel and roll to dodge something because you use high noon to bait them to do something, and then you roll out of it. I don't like this one. I think Cassidy's high noon's in a pretty good spot, so this one's a no for me. I know people joke that high noon's a reload button, but it's actually a lot better in Overwatch 2 anyways. The scaling is good. It's a big zoning ult, and you can use it to like tank pulse bomb and things like that. Like if you're about to get hit by something, you pop it. Like if you watch Wanted, like use it. Obviously, there are some good uses to it. If you combo it nicely with your shield, like Ryan, put your shield up and then speed me in, speed ring me in. Like I think High Noon has like these cool interactions you can play with your team if done right. Next suggestion: Juno's ult could work like Dooms or Bastions. You remove a player from the time of the ultimate, but give control of where the ultimate is. I feel like that's kind of boring. So you're saying if Juno ults, she disappears from the map and she gets to pick where to do it. I'm gonna hold my ultimate here in this spot, and now she's like sitting there AFK, like she's fucking sending the orbital ray from space. And then yeah, she can't use it herself and be active in the team fight without it. I don't know if I like that. I actually think what I would do for Juno's ultimate is, no, I don't think her ultimate's weak, but I think it can go in one direction, travel a little faster, but you can choose to pause it. You can't reverse it. It will always go in one direction, but you can slow it down, make it go, slow it down as needed. That was how I wanted it to be from the beginning, but I'm not sure if that's really in balance, where you have a giant circle where it's just AoE really strong and you can just hold it there the whole time, but as the team fight moves, you start pressing it forward. A stop and start button, yeah. But maybe there are some balance problems with that. Maybe that was actually iterated before and it didn't play out as well, but that's what I thought on paper would sound good, but of course I wouldn't know until I test it out. But a stop and start would be what I wanted. But for this suggestion specifically, for Doom and Bastion, I don't think so. Suggestions: allies should be able to target Lifeweaver's Tree of Life and teleport to it. This would bring allies out of trouble a way out. This would allies in trouble a way out and encourage grouping up for the team fight, giving the ult more utility. Oh, hell no. I think Tree of Life is pretty strong in a vacuum, but that's too strong. Imagine you can just teleport to a free 150 HP or 100 HP pump at any time. That's crazy. To get a free get out of jail free card wherever? Nah. That's like an instant like Kiri Swift step to a tree that heals you. That's crazy. That's just way too overloaded. Oh, hell no. Ooh, okay, next suggestion here. For backfilling in quick play, I think a good quality of life change would be to give the backfiller a percentage of the ult charge that the person who left had. So someone leaves the game while having the ult, the backfiller joins the game at, let's say, 40% ult. Because if they join, especially in the mid fight, wait, actually, that would not be a bad idea. I think at most cap it at 50%. I know it depends on the ult, but I actually think this might not be bad to at least make backfilling not feel as sluggish. Because if you join mid game and you're like, oh my god, I'm like so far behind on ult economy and everything, it could help make it a bit more enjoyable. Yeah, I kind of like that. I think most people are okay with it. It might fuck up some stats maybe, but yeah, no, I like it. Fuck the logistics on stats. I think for the pure gameplay mechanic, I think it's way more fun. A suggestion, add 25-ish damage to Hanzo's sonic arrow so he's able to one shot with the headshot again. Because he does 120, 145 on a sonic headshot because it's only on a cooldown. I'm not a Hanzo player at all, and I don't think he's bad right now, but I think this is a fair compromise to what he had before and what he has now. Nah. Well, if you do that, I guess you lose your sonic positioning arrow. You can't put it in a nice spot because you have to choose whether you want to use this arrow as a one-shot across the distance versus putting the sonic in a good spot for info. But then that kind of defeats the purpose of calling it a sonic arrow. No, I think we can tune Hanzo in another way. I do think he's kind of weak. I'm just surprised he went down to 225. I think he's fine at 250 HP in this current state, and we can leave it at that, to be honest with you. He got indirectly buffed where a lot of heroes went from 250 to 225, but then he kind of got his survivability gutted as well. And since Hanzo, Winston and D.Va are really meta right now, it makes Hanzo pretty ass to play right now. So I think just put him back to 250 and we can leave him there for now and see. But yeah, probably not. I think we go in a different direction for him. If I select a random skin from favorites, it should change every time I respawn. Maybe, it could be another option. Instead of random from favorite, it could be like super random per death or something. Maybe like another cosmetic option for it to opt into it. I kind of like my random from favorites to be, you know, round by round, but just another option to completely randomize from respawn, sure. They do it per round. You can swap when you go attack and defend, can't you? I mean, I guess for quick play, you don't swap sides, so you can't switch. Not every respawn, so it gets confusing. Oh, that's actually something you don't think about. Where there's brand new players playing against heroes with skins, it's easier to see if they're like that one skin for the whole game, but they keep changing it and you're new to the game, it could overwhelm a newer player. And actually that might not work because, oh, turret skins, that's actually a limitation. Actually, you're right, they can't do it because of limitations like that. Let's say you have a pylon or a torb turret that's locked to the skin, and if you die and your skin changes, that entity is still alive, right? That turret, maybe nobody shot your pylon or turret and then you swap skins, that might not work. The game memory, so it's a logistical problem. So unfortunately that may not work then. Unless you can retroactively dynamically change like your turret skin when you die, when you switch skins. But I think that's just too much game memory. This might be like a coding problem. So maybe not. Maybe if we fix that limitation one day. I suggested this a while ago, but I'll suggest it again. Let me pick which voice line I want to hear and have it be a per hero option. It wouldn't affect what anybody else hears or what I hear when somebody else ults as that character, except maybe during play of the game. I want to hear, yeah, I'm not going to try saying Moira's line. Pop Coalescence, because it sounds cooler than surrender to my will. I mean, anything localized to you, I think that's fine. Some people like change the language they play on because they like hearing like the Korean Reaper alt, like Chuga, or whatever the hell he says. Sure, if it's localized, I feel like it's a why not. It's an opt-in and it's only for you. It doesn't hurt anybody else. Why not? Suggestion, it's finally time. Remove Ana's reload. Infinite ammo, please. No, I think having a reload is like a part of the skill expression, being able to manage your ammo and stuff like that. I'm an Ana main, and I'm all for Ana buffs, but not in this way. That wouldn't make it fun for anybody else if that's too strong. Come on. Nope. Infinite ammo like lowers the ceiling a lot, and it just makes the hero too like mind-numbingly easy. No thank you. That's why they have like the heat and stuff for infinite ammo. Like for Orisa, because it's so easy to have infinite ammo. I mean, obviously like D.Va and Sigma are, I guess, the two exceptions, but like, and Hanzo, sorry. When Moira fades, it should calculate all the damage she would have taken during fade and then talk smack. The more damage she would have taken, the more loud and toxic she is to the enemy team. That could be for a lot of heroes. Haha. Yes. Ha 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 ha. April Fools. Oh, kind of like, wait. You're saying kind of, it's a voice line, right? Kind of like where D.Va, where she eats something, she goes like there's a couple of lines that show up. But like, how would you calculate the damage you would have taken during Fade when you don't exist in the world? Like here, D.Va, you can actually calculate the projectile you absorb and make disappear. But like things that you fade out of would just like be flying past you. But you know, funny voice lines for things like that are always nice. What does D.Va say when she eats a pulse bomb again? Like something specifically. It's very cute. Anyways, don't think it works for Moira. The only suggestion that matters, invest more in Overwatch. Warcraft's custom game creator literally got people to invent new genres of games like tower defense and MOBAs. If Overwatch put a little more into its workshop, it could be so much better. I mean, of course, I've mentioned this in previous suggestions boxes and always iterated, always add more resources for the workshop. We have 2 big workshoppers in our community here that would love it as well. You know, invest more in that product. I think there's a lot of like products. We call it products in Corpa, right? Things like, you know, the whole like LFG or systems or products. Like I think the workshop system is the one that actually has the most potential to develop like really cool custom games. Workshop Wednesdays, if there's actually more resources. And the other suggestion was to pull the PvE assets. If they're just sitting there, there may be a limitation on it, but like this is where we add the resources to find the engineers to optimize and pull PvE assets, like those, like all the monsters you developed in your missions. The stalkers, the thingy with the hair that pulls you in. Like let the community cook then. If you don't want to invest people to like make the PvE, increase the memory if that's possible in the workshop and let people make their own PvE shit in there. Thank you. Figure it out. Like if there's anything I'd love to do, it would be that. Because I also like do love custom games like in Halo. People came up with what's the thing with the hammers and you like run around Griff Ball, and then people do like those like races with the warthogs and just do all this fun stuff, right? Custom games are great for it. And Infection, and it became so popular people just loved it as like a main playlist thing. To be a teenager in 2007 again. Anyways, thanks for the suggestions, everybody. If you have any good suggestions for Overwatch, leave them in the comments. Maybe some devs will read it. I saw Gavin in here, one of the devs. They lurk. I'm sure some of them do tune into some of these, and there's like a giant list of things they do want to do, pending resource dependent, but you know, these are just my opinions on whether I like some of these or don't, but hopefully they see some of these and one day it gets added. Very cool. Thanks, everybody. Bye-bye.